Welcome to Monster Men.
This is take 2, by the way, everybody. The first take didn't take.
Alright.
We screwed up and
It's okay.
didn't put the camera on.
Maybe we forgot to hit record. Take 2. It's Horror-tober. Welcome to Monster Men. We got a lot of show for you today.
A whole lot of show.
We're going to pack a lot of Halloween goodness into one show.
Squeeze it like meat in a tube.
Plus a tribute to a horror legend that we should have probably done this show like a month ago.
We were a little busy, so...
Sorry,
we're
we don't
here
get
now
paid to do this. Just shut up and enjoy.
So, what we're going to do is start off with a pumpkin ale this month. So let's pretend that I have just opened this now. I have poured it. This is, the beer today is from South Hampton Public House.
The Hamptons.
The Hamptons is a pumpkin ale.
Near the Montauk Monster.
That's right.
Home of the Montauk Monster.
It's funny you do that because when I was in that area with my daughter, one of my daughters kept going, "Oh, look, we're in the Hamptons."
Love it. Let me see this. So this label is not, it's not like a funky label with a scary pumpkin. It's just a Amityville horror house looking inn.
Yeah, it's not like
I'll do a selfie again.
Selfie time. A man and his beer.
Couple options.
So,
Kim Kardashian selfie.
To Kim Kardashian's large butt.
Or pumpkins.
I will say again, that's good pumpkin.
That's smooth. That's good. It's got pumpkin presence without overwhelming you.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth.
This might make the Halloween party that I have. We always try to pick
I think
a couple
a mainstream
of
crowd could drink this.
I do.
I think this would be good with the sugar and cinnamon.
Ooh. Sure would. The rim. Be good with the cinnamon rim job.
I knew that was coming.
But what do you want to kick things off with today? You want to go...
Let's talk... Alright. There's a couple of vampire movies on Netflix. And we're good at picking Netflix movies, so you don't have to waste your time.
We will tell you what to avoid.
So there was 2, and then I saw another vampire movie that wasn't on Netflix, so I figured it'd be good to lump that in.
Lump it.
So...
And plus, people dig vampires still.
So you saw one that's more recent and got talked about a lot, and it was a recently added one that I've been meaning to see for a while that I could talk about. So what do you go first?
Well, the one that I saw it's an Iranian vampire movie called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It's shot in black and white.
Is Macaulay Culkin in it? Home Alone?
It's look, don't expect action.
This is why I haven't watched it. It's subtitled, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's black and white subtitled and not a lot of action, so I feel like I need to be ready to pay attention.
Yeah, this is like an art house vampire movie. They didn't have a big budget, but they did take the time to kind of write a pretty cool story. It's atmospheric. It's got a pretty girl in it, so
that's good.
Pretty vampire girls are always a plus.
How are the bites sitting?
It's not brutal. It's really not brutal. It's to me, it's almost like if you look at vampirism as sort of an affliction. This is maybe how somebody would live their life with that affliction.
I think this movie was actually filmed in California.
It was. The girl's Iranian, and they call it an Iranian horror film. Hey, I'll go for it.
So you give it a thumbs up?
I do give it a thumbs up. It's not one of those movies where I'm going to go out and tell everybody, you have to go see this movie, but somebody like me who's very jaded when it comes to vampires, I kind of liked it. It hit me at the right moment.
You are jaded about vampires too, though, so for you to recommend it, it's got to be something different.
Right, and this was definitely something different, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I liked the black and white. I wish more movies nowadays would come out in black and white because, I don't know, it just makes things creepier.
And it don't matter if you're black or white. Oh
my God.
Slash. No, it's not.
There's a lot of singing going on right now.
I know, that's the Pumpkin Ale singing. So I saw a movie called Byzantium that's got, God, I did not look up the names of the people who started it.
It's got people, actors and actresses.
The main actress is this girl who's very up and coming. She was in like that movie about the girl who's like really a programmed assassin, and she was also in that Peter Jackson movie about the girl who dies and then she's still around with her. I'm really being really specific here.
Haunter?
No, not Haunter. Mark Wahlberg's in it. She's the dad, and that guy plays the pedophile in it.
Oh boy, I missed this one.
Anyway, this girl, up and coming girl, and then the girl who played Gretel in Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Oh yeah,
Gemma, or something like that.
Yeah,
smoking.
Yeah, she's pretty. Smoking
hot. So Gemma is the older vampire who's the mother of the girl, and they're vampires, and they're forced because of being vampires and the stuff that happens to move to this coastal town. So basically, the mother is more adept at how to live with this curse. They can walk around in the daytime.
Okay.
And they use like their pinky finger extends into like sharp, and that's how they
so they don't have the fangs.
So it's a little different, like you were saying.
Right.
So I watched it and I thought it was like okay. It's 2 hours, so I was like, this movie could have been an hour and a half.
You're right.
It could have been paced, but it's sort of the same thing. It's like living. It's a supernatural, but still more of like a living with the affliction kind of thing.
Right.
Then the ending is kind of fun.
Okay.
And God, movies are so bank on the ending.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, if I just spent 2 hours watching this, I might have been looking at my watch a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, horror is usually best served in small bites.
Yeah.
And comedy. Those are two genres.
So I would say,
good.
If you're a vampire completist like I am, you're just like, I need to watch. It's a vampire movie. I'll watch it.
Right.
Be ready for. This is not like a horror movie so much as it is a vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's not great. But it's worth watching if you like to watch vampire movies. They do a few things a little bit differently. A few things I think you're gonna really like. Like there's a scene where there's a guy who's bleeding, and they're like using like cloths to try and stop his bleeding.
Right.
And then they rush him off to the hospital, and the girl is like sitting there, and then she like picks up the bloody rag, and like puts it in her mouth. And like, oh, that's good.
All right.
That was in the trailer too.
As long as you had a squeamish moment, that's always good.
Yeah. So there's a couple there. So I think I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars on Netflix. It'd be somewhere between the 3.5 and 4.
Right. Yeah, I wish you could do the half ratings.
Yeah,
on Netflix, but whatever.
I wouldn't give it a 5, but I'm like, okay, if you're looking for something to watch, it's pretty entertaining. Good looking girl.
Here's a question: do you feel compelled to rate all the movies you watch on Netflix?
I'm starting to, because I find when I go back later, some movies I can't remember if I saw them or not. And I'm like, oh, I rated it.
Yeah, because you can see and be like, oh, and I gave it 2 stars.
And then I'm wondering if their algorithm, if they see how I rate things, if it's going to affect how they show me other movies.
That's true.
Their ratings, though, there's so many 1-star rated things that I'm like, should I be listening to this or?
You know what? Those 1 stars are based on people, not critics, and usually they're right. Because I pull up those 1-star movies and I'll be like, all right, this is 10 minutes of my life that I'm now going to stop. I'm pulling the plug. I'm not going to watch this anymore.
Usually like a 3 or above. I'm like, okay.
Then I'll dive in. Exactly. So, there was another vampire movie that you and I saw, that Woody Allen-esque vampire movie. That was
Summer of Blood.
Summer of Blood.
That's on Netflix, dude. I love that movie.
That's a vampire comedy that is just so bizarre.
It's like a Woody Allen movie and a vampire movie. It's like this pathetic hipster guy.
Schlubby, chubby, loser jerk.
Who won't commit to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she gets pissed at him because she tries to propose to him. And he's like, I don't think I'm ready for that. He's like Arrested Development, won't grow up guy.
Yeah.
Then he ends up getting bit by a vampire. And it's the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, he's getting all the chicks that he ever dated before and turning them into vampires. And they're having threesomes and foursomes and... But not explicit sex because it's a comedy.
It's a comedy, so there's like things like his landlord is banging on the door and he's got to keep a coat over him because the sun's out and everything. So and he's just so annoying.
He is. He's a schmuck. But it's fun. Like I love when he ran into the vampire who bit him first, and she's like, "Oh hey,
how you been? So you want some?" He's like,
"Yeah," because the guy's sucking on somebody's blood. He goes, "You want a taste?" Like, no, I already had some. It's a funny movie.
And that's, again, part of what I like about... I'm going to talk about another vampire comedy in a second. A well-done vampire comedy, like What We Do in the Shadows, is like the best way to go. Like, if you're going to do a serious vampire movie, you better do a good job, because there's so many of them and there's so many bad ones.
Right.
But if you do a clever vampire comedy that's not just scary movie, or whatever, vampires suck,
right?
Or if you do something like this, it's so clever. Summer of Blood is that. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a great idea. You put this guy who lives like in Brooklyn.
And he was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really believable as like just a schlubby jerk.
Yeah, slummy jerk.
Yeah.
So the vampire that I watched that was not on Netflix, but is worth pay-per-viewing. It's called Blood-Sucking Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the stoner dude from Cabin in the Woods as the main character. But he's like this. He works in an office with his buddies who are a bunch of like, you know, they're playing video games all day at work, and
right.
you know they're not going their own customer service. You know, just like dead end job guys who are just happy fooling around and punching the clock at 5.
Hey,
And it's
remember Mike, Norm, Shane, Fred, all those days?
Life sucking office environment.
Yeah.
But then like this new manager comes in, and you pretty quickly realize he's a vampire, and he starts turning people in the office and stuff like that. Basically, it's Office Space with vampires. And so
that sounds cool.
The first half of the movie is pretty good, but then the last half of the movie gets really funny.
And can you get that? Oh, you can't get that on Netflix.
No, you can't. You got to pay-per-view that one. I got to watch it, I think, on Amazon or Vudu.
So that's funny, like out of these vampire movies we're talking about, and then you add in What We Do in the Shadows, which is really hysterical.
I bought that.
Now that's 3 vampire comedies all within the last year that are all done well.
Yeah. This would be the best one, I would say.
Yeah, that was...
Summer of Blood, though, is worth watching. You're going to have a different reaction to it because that guy's so annoying.
And you know what? I think that people who aren't... I don't know how it's going to play for people outside New York, because it's a very New York movie.
Very New York.
Like Seinfeld is a very New York show. This is a very New York movie.
Like Brooklyn hipster scene.
It's worth a shot, though.
But the other one, Blood-Sucking Bastards, totally worth watching.
All right, that's going on my list. That's going on my list there, Butter.
Yeah.
Butter. Put it right here. My list. Now, I think we need to get to something that's very important and overdue.
Yes, so Wes Craven passed away recently. And Wes Craven is a horror master, legend.
Meister!
And it's interesting because we both paid tribute to him on the internet. And his resume has some pretty obvious things, like he's the inventor of Freddy Krueger, and directed and wrote a couple of them on I think 3 of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best ones too. He also invented the Scream series.
Like he did something. He did huge things for the horror genre, and then in Scream he kind of tore it all down.
And what made Scream great was it was so self-aware. It was like, okay, here's the rules of horror movies.
Yeah.
And when you watch a zombie movie, like The Walking Dead, they pretend like those people don't know what zombies are.
Right.
Whereas this thing like Scream is like, okay, there are people like us who've watched horror movies their whole life.
Yeah, so they
like,
know.
Why would you go down in the basement? And then anybody in the movie that breaks the rule dies.
Right. It was funny. It was like he was saying, "Well, here I'm one of the people who's established the rules, and now I'm going to use this to play against everything I've done."
And one of the #1 things he did with Scream was Drew Barrymore was like painted as the star of that movie, and then they kill her off in the first 5 minutes.
Like Bryan Cranston in Godzilla.
Well,
but my favorite movies of his are not those. Like, it's not Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's not Scream. My favorites of his were Last House on the Left, which I thought was gut-wrenching.
Keep talking. I'm going to Google his filmography. Last House on the Left we need to talk about, though, because I saw that year, like high school or whatever, and I kind of forgot. I rented it maybe 10 years ago. And it's watching it with somebody who's like younger and not as much of a horror fan.
Right.
And they still appreciated it because it's so dated.
It's very dated. It's got campy like music scene, like music in it and stuff. Sometimes really, there's like dumb parts. But when it gets bad, like down to the bone, kind of bad, it's creepy. It has that feel of the horror movies I say often, where it feels like you found something in someone's basement and you just popped it in, and it looks like you're watching someone's home snuff movie.
That movie gets crazy.
Yeah. And the remake, believe it or not, is not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a good remake.
But that's one of those ones, that's a good one to go watch the original, then watch the remake. And see, and that was a good movie to remake, really. Because a lot of kids, younger horror fans, probably wouldn't go seek out Last House on the Left.
No. I also love, one of my favorites that he did was The Hills Have Eyes. Which is the family going, on vacation, and they got the dogs and everything, and they get stranded in this former nuclear testing zone, and then there's this family of cannibals living in the hills.
That big bald guy.
Yeah, Michael Berryman. What you doing there, Papa Jupe? That's a good
and
movie.
that kind of shows his versatility, because we'll go through some of his movies, but he wasn't just like, I did Freddy and I'm done.
No, he was always working on something new.
And the quality of his movies is varies, but especially for us, the video store generation, he was a constant source of stuff to rent.
Yes, absolutely. And you'd rent anything that he made. And
some of the stuff hasn't aged well, but if you go put on your 1985 glasses and watch it,
like From They Live.
Yeah. For instance, Shocker
with Skinner from the X-Files.
That movie does not hold up.
No, but you remember it.
Was a blast when you watch it as a kid. You rented it and you're like, that was the cheesy special effects and things like that.
When I saw the X-Files and I saw Skinner, I was like, oh my god, it's Shocker.
What the hell? Horace Pinker. Alright, so Scream, he did Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and New Nightmare, which is another. He went back and sort of like turned Nightmare on Elm Street on its head by making like, now Freddy's going after the real people, and it like. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I liked how they were trying to do something different with it.
You mean he didn't do the homoerotic part 2? Which is awesome to behold when you watch
Here's
that movie.
Here's one for you. Before there was the Gimp in Pulp Fiction.
Right. Oh! The People Under the Stairs. That's another... I forgot that he did that movie.
And that's kind of a horror comedy.
It is.
And you don't expect it to be when you first... Like, when it came out, you're like, it's just another scary movie. And then you're like, holy, like, that movie's hilarious.
Now, how many horror movies is the main star a little black kid? Right?
Yep. And Ving Rhames is in that.
Oh, that's right. That's a good movie.
Let's see.
Bravo on that one.
He did Red Eye with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy.
Oh, in the plane.
I never saw that one.
That's actually pretty good. Well, here's the deal. I don't like flying, and that's like the flight from hell. And when I watched it, I was having physical reactions. I was almost having panic attacks thinking about being in a plane. So that was actually good.
Another classic he did, not sure how it holds up, Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh.
The voodoo zombie movie. I like that movie. Like, I think if you watch it now, it would probably feel very 80s. But
that's Bill Pullman, right?
Bill Pullman. When they put him in the coffin...
I'm not really dead!
With the tarantula on his face. I mean, right there is like your biggest fear ever.
That was... I remember that came out around the same time as The Believers.
It was
with Martin Sheen.
Oh, yeah.
And that was... So I had the Santeria voodoo combo that right around that same time. I loved both of those movies. I have to watch them again. I haven't seen them forever.
Deadly Friend. Christy Swanson, the robot.
Oh, my God. I have a Christy Swanson autographed steak somewhere.
Nice. Here. His werewolf movie, Cursed, with Christina...
Christina Ricci?
Yeah.
That was...
Craig Kilborn's in it.
There's no Black Snake Moan.
He did Swamp Thing.
He did Swamp Thing?
He did Swamp... Well, some of these he wrote and some of these he directed.
Really? With the original with Adrian Barbeau?
He did Vampire in Brooklyn.
Ooh.
Deadly Blessing.
Deadly Blessing was okay.
Oh, he was involved with Freddy vs. Jason, too, which was hilarious.
That was fun.
Wishmaster. There was
a bunch of those. I remember I liked the first Wishmaster, and then, well, like anything like that, it kind of wears itself thin.
Screen movies. See, there's like 3 of them. I only really care about the first one.
There's 4. Don't forget the 4th one they did recently.
MTV series.
No, not a thing. He had a pretty stellar career, man. If you're trying to make horror movies, and when you look back in your career, you can say you hit a lot of those landmark movies.
We've talked about the Mount Rushmore of horror. Freddy's in the conversation and makes it.
Right.
Then you've got the Scream Ghostface. Most people, you're an author, you'd kill to make one character that was anywhere near that identifiable.
Exactly.
And he's got 2, the Ghostface and that.
Yeah. So good career. He did good.
Good career.
I think we also wanted to bring up before we close out a horror podcast.
Oh yes.
That you also listened to. I think who should we hit? Mouths of Madness.
Mouths of Madness.
The Mouths of Madness.
These guys are something. They make like short films and stuff too.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff, boy. And they have book reviews, which I really love. And Z-Dubs, who does the book reviews, Zach, he's reviewed Tortures of the Damned, and I think he's doing the Dover Demon.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. So
that's a good show. Those guys are hardcore.
Yeah, you can catch them on iTunes, so you can subscribe.
And they got a great name, The Mouths of Madness.
Yeah. So, and Zach does the Eyes of Madness because he does the reading. They've done a good job of marketing. So listen to them when you get a chance. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely check them out on iTunes and wherever good podcasts are posted.
Oh, and also, if you all know that the latest issue of Fangoria is out, and in it I have a full-page ad my publisher took out for Tortures of the Damned. So I'm going to, in the month of October, run some contests so people can win signed copies of Fangoria. Even if you don't care about my ad in there, it's Fangoria, so there's great stuff in the magazine.
Thank freaking Goria, people. Thank freaking Goria, Rick McGuire rookie card.
Half my room when I was a kid, one half was like half nude chicks, and the other half was just like slaughtered people taken out of Fangoria. And the magazine is still great, boy. They are still cutting edge. The problem when I get older, because it's dark and there's so much going on, it's hard for me to read sometimes.
Yeah.
My dying eyes. But
good stuff.
Still a great magazine. So just look on my website, huntershade.com, for contest details as they come about.
Excellent. All right. Keep up with us on our Facebook page, #HorrorTober, for what we're watching and reading. And let us know what you're doing this Halloween season. And good one.
Go get bitten by a vampire, sucker.
See you next time on
Monster Band.
Grr, arg.